Benjamin Neuman. He's a professor and chair of biological sciences at Texas A&M University. Thank you so much for your time, Benjamin. Considering people would have been gathering together indoors over Christmas, would you assume that another record is heading our way in the coming days or weeks?
Yes, at this point, we're only just starting to see some of the new cases that would have come from the Christmas get-togethers, and we'll be seeing the increase due to those Christmas get-togethers over the next week or so. The next big holiday, though, is New Year's Eve, and I still hear about a lot of people who are planning to get together, and this will be, again, with a totally different group. I suppose if it was the same group each time, the virus would limit itself to some extent, but this sort of mixing is definitely what leads to more cases and what is probably driving the big increase right now.
Interesting you mention New Year's Eve, because we've heard from countries such as France and the United Kingdom saying they're not going to impose restrictions and curfews for New Year's Eve, and yet they've both posted new COVID records. Do you think enough is being done to mitigate the spread of Omicron?
I mean, you can look at the numbers and tell that the answer is obviously not, right? Yeah. Germany are taking a somewhat sensible approach, but what we're seeing here is a very piecemeal way of attacking this, with each country kind of doing their own thing, some taking many precautions, others taking few. And look at the numbers. This is how we got into this situation. This is why we continue to be in this situation. COVID is a thing that you can keep it under control in one place, it'll still get back in if it's not under control everywhere. And we had some new research come through today that showed that previous cases of COVID actually provide very little immunity that actually transfers to Omicron. So there are a lot of people out there who are thinking that they may have not just been infected, but also been vaccinated before, who would have relatively little protection against this. It's really a case for wearing masks right now as the best way to actually stop this. And the other measures that are being proposed other places are generally just window dressing in comparison to that.
And so just briefly, what do you think people should be doing going forward into the new year period?
Yeah, this is a record-setting time of COVID. And if you were going to be careful, this is the time to be careful and to wear a mask. And there's still time right now to get a booster and maybe have a little bit of extra immunity going into New Year. It's a very dangerous time out there, and the deaths always follow a few weeks after the spike, and we have not yet seen the peak of this one. So it looks like we're in for bad times ahead.
It is good advice. Benjamin Neuman, thank you so much for your time joining us live there from the US.